Welcome students. This is Jaideep Manocha, Associate Professor, Information Technology Department, Arya College of Engineering and Information Technology, Jaipur. This lecture is for again final year IT students. Subject is software testing and validation. In this lecture, we are going to learn about test reporting and recommending the product release. The topic is related to unit number 5. So let us start the topic. So basically, testing requires constant communication between the test team and other teams. Okay, other teams like development team. So when we talk about test reporting, it means of achieving this kind of communication. Okay, testing requires constant communication between the test team and other teams. So what is test report? Basically, a test report is a constant kind of communication between the teams. So we can categorize the test reports, as you can see here, as a test incident report, test cycle report, and test summary report. We will consider each and every one by one. So let us start with the first one, that is test incident report. So what is test incident report? So students, you can see some points here. It is a communication, an entry made in the defect repository, highlights with the high defects. So let us discuss it in detail. Basically, a test incident report is a communication that happens through the testing cycle as and when defects are encountered. So a test incident report is basically nothing but an entry made in the defect repository. All of you are aware about the defect repository, that is defect database, in which data of defects is kept safe. So a test incident report is nothing, it is just an entry made in the defect repository. So each defect is having a unique identifier, unique ID, and this is used to identify the particular incident. So the high impact test incidents, like as for example, there are great memory bugs. So we will say that it is a great defect or great incident. So the high impact that is related to this incident will be highlighted in the last report. Okay, that is test summary report. You can see again the last one is test summary report. So the impact of any kind of defect will be observed here, and it will be highlighted in the summary report. Okay, so now we take the next one, that is test cycle report. As we know that test projects take place in units, that means in parts of test cycles. A test cycle basically entails planning and running certain tests in the cycles, and in each and every cycle we are using a different build of the product. So as the progress will be going on, that means as the product will be progressing through the various cycles, then it is to be expected that it must be stabilized. Okay, then a test cycle report is very useful. At the end of each cycle, this report is prepared. So what this report is going to address? This report basically comes at the end, and at each end of test cycle, each end of a test cycle, it will give the summary of activities that are carried out during that cycle. It will cover the defects that were uncovered during that cycle based on their severity and impressions or impact. It will also cover the progress from the previous cycles to the current cycles in terms of the fixed defects. Okay. Next is you can see outstanding defects. It means that the defects that are yet to be fixed in this cycle will be highlighted in this report. Next is any variations are there, then if any variations of effort are there, let's say it was decided or it was analyzed that for a particular phase only 2 hours will be required, but when it was practically observed 4 hours was spent, then it means what are the variations. This report will be keeping record of this thing. Clear? Now we talk about the last thing that is very much important, test summary report. A report that will make a summary of all the results of all the test cycles is known as test summary report. Basically, we can classify it in two types. First one is phase-wise TSR, that is phase-wise test summary report. It is produced at the end of each and every phase. The next one is the final uh, test summary report, which gives details of all testing done. In it we can find lot of things, like summary of activities, what are the what are the variance of the activities, summary of all the results. Okay, so I think you can get confused with the second point, that is variance of activities. So what are these variance of activities? Variance of activities carried out from the activities plan means some changes are there, that you planned something but you executed something different. So it will include like the tests that were planned to be run but could not be run, modifications to test from what was in the original test specification, but we executed something different. Any additional information can also be there. Okay, so this is the meaning of variance of the activities. One more thing is there, comprehensive assessment. Okay, and last one is recommendation for release. Both the points are related to fit for release assessment and recommendation of release. That means the product is now fit for release or not, and we can recommend it or not. Okay, so now after all these reports, the final point is now how to recommend the product for release. Based on all the reports, the business will take a final decision that whether the product will be released in the market or not. So basically, an organization never want to release a product with defects. That means they want defects zero. But let's say the product is not fully ready, and a lot of market pressure is there because deals have done. So market pressure can result in the release with defects of the product, but with no major risk. That means we can release the product if there are no risks. Those are related to our business, and this decision will be taken by the senior management. And for the decision, the senior management can consult all the teams like development team, customers, and testing team. So this is all about test reporting, because test reporting is the final thing which will further push recommendation of release in front of customers. So this is over for today. In the next lecture, we are going to take the next topic of this unit number 5. Till then, thank you.